All right. Now we're going to talk to you a little bit about how to put fractions in there. It's not too bad, but there are just a couple of things to go over to make sure that we get those in there right. Um, if you want to just again use the toolbar, you certainly can. Here I want to put in 9 3/4. That's what I'm going to put in here. Google Docs does have an auto formatting option. So like if I typed in 9 space and then put 3/4 and hit a space again, it will auto format some of those. It will auto format very simple fractions, more complicated ones. So if I just delete this out of here, like we want to maybe do 12/5. If I hit space, nothing happens. No big thing. So on here, if I want to make fancy looking fractions here, I'm just going to delete that. Again, going to go insert here, going to put my equation in, and I want to put in 9 3/4. So I'm going to put a 9 space, and to put a fraction in, I'm going to go up here to my selection spot, select my kind of operations here, and there's a fraction bar. And when we put that in, you can kind of see it behind the cursor here. It's a little mini fraction bar. You start on the numerator, so I put in my 3 on the numerator. To get to the denominator, here's the difference. Most people hit the down button. If I hit the down key, down arrow, it actually just goes down to the next line. It goes completely out of there. So to either get there, you either have to click into the denominator, or if I'm at the numerator, you can use the left and right keys to bounce back and forth. So you have to go left to right, which is a little bit different, but it's just because Google Docs is formatted, line by line. You can't go up and down with an equation. You go only left to right. So that has to do with some coding stuff in there. But that's a way, and then there you have your equation in there. Now you can also put that in there as like your typing, so you don't have to go up here and select a bunch of stuff. And you do have to click it to put a new equation in, but then once you start typing, like I might put fraction, so I might put slash fraction. The shorthand for that is FRAC, fraction, and then I hit space bar, and it creates that fraction for me. I don't have to go up and select that. And then 3, arrow, 4, and then there's the same thing, right? So you can go ahead and do that. So that stuff is, you can either click it up here or you can kind of type it out, okay? Next one we're going to go over is a little bit with these parentheses. Notice here the parentheses here are kind of shorter. These ones are a little bit larger. And talk about the difference between those and if you want to make them look really nice versus not looking quite as nice. So again, I'll go in here, new equation. Again, I'm going to put my 9 3/4 in, but you have to start by putting parentheses around there. If you just use the keyboard, so if you hit Shift 9 to start your parenthesis, and then we put the rest of it in kind of like we did. So I go fraction 3/4, and then close my parenthesis by hitting Shift 0. Well, you see, it kind of, it doesn't look terrible, but it would be nice if these were a little bit bigger so it encompassed the 3/4 in those parentheses. To do that, I'm going to put a new equation in there. We do have to go up here and select the parentheses that are in here. These are special ones. These are larger parentheses. Even though when I first click them, they look the same size. So I hit 9 space, they're still the same size as before. But when you put a fraction in there, notice here after I hit space, it resizes them. So they're just a little bit bigger, and so it can encompass your whole equation. So if you're putting parentheses around things and you want it to match all the way, make sure you select your stuff up here in order to do that. There are some typing commands, which I'll show you. And I know I've been going over a few things like there was pi, there's fractions, there's shortcuts for pretty much everything in this equation window. In order to put any of these symbols in or any of these, there's shorthands for all of these. You can put slash something to do that. But you don't have to memorize all of those or anything like that. I put a link in your homework to a Google Docs site, an equation editor. So this is the one that it has. So in here, you can kind of scroll down and you can see all of the different things that would be available. So like if you wanted to type an alpha in there, you'd hit slash alpha and then hit spacebar, and it would automatically do that. You don't have to look it up. So if you're using a lot, there are all kinds of different things in here that you can go ahead and have, dividing, multiplying, plus minus signs, anything you can think of, you can always scroll down and find those if you want to shorthand them.